Looking back when you became CEO in 2001, what have been the most unexpected hurdles?
So, Jeff, it's funny. It's been almost 14 years to the day, and we had the anniversary of 9/11 last week. So it always makes me thoughtful. I think the world, if I had to pick one, we'd come out of this time period of really geopolitical peacefulness. U.S. was the center of the economic world. We really hadn't seen a meaningful recession since 1990 and things like that. So I think the biggest surprise has just been the world has just been twisted from one of relative, I would say, benign growth to one of just high volatility, high geopolitical risk, things like that. And so in many ways, the environment today is nothing like what it was, like what I thought it would be when I became CEO.
I know you've talked about 9/11 and your experience, and if I'm not mistaken, you were on a trip to Seattle the day
I was,
before
exactly.
9/11.
Yeah.
But if you think back to that time, what kind of stresses were you and the company dealing with?
So I was in Seattle, so it was just an incredible moment. And again, I always start by saying, what the country went through was far worse than what the company went through or what I went through. But, we were big in the aviation business. We were big in the insurance business. We were owned a network at that time. So we really had, several of our businesses that got direct hit. So I would say, first and foremost, I thought about our employees and were they safe. Second, I worried about the country and were we under attack. And then we just started, unraveling the impact on particularly our aviation business. If you were in the commercial aviation business on 9/11 of 2001, you went through a major thrust because products were being used as weapons. We owned 1,200 aircraft. What happened to airlines was certainly at risk. And so we're really, picking our way through the various businesses we were in to try to determine, what changes we needed to make and how we would adjust. Again, I think time changes. When you replace a famous person, you're always reminded of things that he said in the past. And I think what really makes leaders great, or what really made, let's say, my predecessor great, was that he really didn't care too much about history. He was always what was right for the moment. And so I think we think today what's right for now, not what was right 10 or 20 or 30 years ago. So today, I think we live in a very global business. So I became CEO in 2001. We were 70% American. I joined GE in 1982. We were 80% in the U.S. Once we complete the Alstom acquisition, we'll be almost 70% outside the United States. So just the global footprint is so much different. Our vision has always been that GE is a technical leader, that the core of our competitive advantage had to be built around technology. I think we used to think that it was only about leadership, and that if you had good leaders, you could be in any business. We want to have good leaders, but we actually believe that this deep domain expertise is also critically important for the future. But you just can't, business has no shelf life. So my first diversity training in GE was in the mid-'80s. So I'm in almost my 30th year of being trained how to run a meritocracy, how to be open, how to encourage an open workplace. There's no excuse for people of my generation not to be open to, no matter where you came from, no matter what you've done. If you can bring it, if you've got merit, if you're winning, you're going to get promoted. And so we have a great pipeline of women.
In 2008, the Washington Post said that you were one of the world's best CEOs. 7 years later, are you even better?
You've never really led until you've been through like a really, really tail risk, flying close to the sun, right? So now, they don't love you when that's happening, right? In other words, when you're in the middle of the crisis, you don't understand you're getting better. And believe me, the people that are investing in you are a little bit hacked off, right? But there's no doubt in my mind, when I talk to other leaders, no matter where they're from, the fact that you've been through a crisis, and if you're a learner, which I hope I am, or which I think our company is, you get better. And so I'm 100 times, I always say this about looking at people, you never tell anything about anybody when things are good. you can only tell about people when it's like 15 minutes till midnight and it's crappy outside and there's horrible things happening. Then you can tell who's good and who's bad and who can make it and who can't. And I think in my own case, I've learned from all the things that have happened over time and just hopefully become better, try to become better.
So my last question, if you're truly as global as you say, when Elon Musk puts a rocket to Mars, will there be a GE representative on board?
So it's a great question, you know. So I'm always very, very like mindful of what guys like Elon are doing. I just think that one of the incredible aspects of the United States is this great venture creativity. So I don't know if there'll be a GE person on board, but I can tell you we have teams of people that are studying what he's doing to say, okay, should there be a GE control system? Should there be GE propulsion? Should there be a GE person? And whether it's Bezos or Elon or Elizabeth Holmes, or if I could go down the list of people, we're quite, I would say, intrigued by everything that's going on in the world around us, and how can we get better and be more of a participant in that world.
Jeff, thank you very much.
Thanks, Jeff.